1,000 years ago, a group of people left Earth and formed the League of Free Worlds. Humans settled on a planet called XT-59, which was covered in thick, impenetrable swamps. Despite the harsh environment, they built a city with a total control system. This system isolates the population from the outside world, monitors all interactions, and enforces strict rules. It even assigns each person a spouse and a job. Christy despised both her job and her assigned husband. Frustrated, she ran away but was immediately arrested. Before moving forward, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It will help us keep bringing your favorite movie recaps. Christy and 8 other prisoners were taken to a special prison facility. They were made to stand against a wall for a few minutes to be scanned. The system collected all their personal data and sent it to the central computers for the president to review. The president decided who should be arrested and why based on the scans. As the scanning process continued, guards brought in a 10th prisoner with a bag over his head. The captain, clearly frustrated, admitted he wanted to shoot them all but couldn't because the law forbade it. Instead, he announced the prisoners would be released into the swamplands. If they cross 300 kilometers due east, they may reach the Islands of Happiness, which grant redemption. However, Christy has never heard of anyone who made it because the swamplands are full of dangers. The prisoners are taken outside, and the man with the bag is told to keep walking. Suspicious, he kicks a rock and discovers the electrified fence is still active. He believes they tried to kill him and make it look like an accident. The captain announces a sentence of exile and removes the bag from Irvin's head, allowing him to see again. Before leaving, the guards drop a box of supplies, and the captain orders them to leave within an hour. Anyone who stays near the facility will be shot. The captain reactivates the fence and leaves with the guards. Maria panics and tries to run into the fence, but Christy stops her. Irvin suggests they introduce themselves, and they learn that Yust has already served time and knows the swamps well. Suddenly, a terrifying creature bursts out of the ground, shakes its branch-like body for a moment, and disappears again. Irvin calls it Sawword and explains that it senses vibrations to guide its attacks. Then, he opens the box, and the prisoners scramble and push each other to grab the supplies. Irvin only takes a knife and tells Christy to drop what she grabbed because she won't need it. Suddenly, Yust shuts the box and says no one here could survive the swamps, so they should follow him. But Irvin and Christy refuse, insisting they want to find the islands, which Yust believes don't exist. Before leaving, Irvin demands their share of the supplies, but Yust refuses. In response, Irvin grabs Kame and threatens to kill him, knowing the guards would shoot everyone for breaking the rules. Left with no choice, Yust gives them food and tools. Then Irvin shocks Yust by asking for the entire box. He even offers all his food in exchange. Yust agrees, and his group packs their supplies into bags before leaving. Christy tries to convince Irvin to bring Maria with them, but he refuses, calling her too unstable and likely to slow them down. He doubts she'll survive and says she's now Yust's problem. Irvin explains that a 2-person team is ideal for survival. Christy realizes he's been planning this for a while and sarcastically calls him a calculator. Irvin makes Christy walk ahead of him since she's lighter and can test for deep swamps without getting stuck. Meanwhile, he drags the box with a rope tied to his body. After walking for a few hours, Layla approaches them and asks to join. She even promises to share her supplies. Irvin considers his options when someone suddenly opens fire on him. He and Christy quickly hide behind some rocks, and the shooting stops soon after. Layla is unharmed, which means the shooter was targeting Irvin. He tells Layla to leave, blaming her for the attack. Furious, Layla storms off back to her group. Christy and Irvin resumed their journey by crawling on the ground, using a box as a shield. Christy spots strange little creatures on the box, but Irvin reassures her they are harmless. Once they cross the magnetic ridge, Irvin stands up, knowing guns won't work there. He hides behind some rocks to observe the other group and confirms they've been tracking him. He also notices they are missing a prisoner. Moments later, a light signals that the facility's cannon fired, indicating that a man stayed behind and got killed. Christy wonders if the islands are real, and Irvin points out that the captain's attempt to kill him with the fence proves they are. He reasons that if the prisoners had no chance of survival, the captain wouldn't have wasted time trying to kill him. Despite claiming he knows the swamps well, Irvin admits he's never actually been there, which Christie finds contradictory. Meanwhile, in the facility, the captain speaks with the president, who is furious that they failed to kill Irvin. It's revealed that Matthias, the prisoner who stayed behind, was actually a guard working undercover. The cannon didn't kill him. It was all staged. Later, Christie and Irvin stop to rest and drink some water. At that moment, an electrified tentacle bursts out of the ground and nearly attacks Christie. Irvin quickly jumps on it with his cloak to stop it. The tentacle fights back, wrapping around Irvin's body and slashing his chest. Following Irvin's instructions, Christie grabs a knife and cuts the tentacle at its base, forcing the underground creature to retreat. Irvin decides to keep the severed tentacle to use as a weapon. Afterward, Christie cleans Irvin's wound and admits her crime. She killed someone. She explains that she acted in self-defense when a government worker tried to molest her after she requested a divorce permit. Their conversation is interrupted when another group arrives. When Yus tries to steal the box, Irvin uses the tentacle as a whip to keep him away. Yus' group retreats, and Irvin and Christie continue their journey. A few hours later, Irvin notices Yust and his group are still following them. Christie wonders why they're heading in the same direction if Yust doesn't believe in the islands. Irvin guesses they might be heading to the Rotten Shoal, a former prison for social outcasts. Suddenly, Irvin spots a sawwort emerging from the ground and warns Christie to lie down and stay still. Yust's group keeps moving, causing the sawwort to sense their vibrations. The plant reacts, sending its branches upward. Yust orders his group to freeze, but it's too late. The giant sawwort bursts out and starts swinging its body to attack. Most of the prisoners dodge it, but Maria and Zob get caught in its branches. Zob quickly cuts the branch with a knife to free them, but the creature regenerates, creating a monstrous structure in front of them. Yust tells everyone to stay still, but Kame panics and runs away. A branch grabs his ankle and holds him in place while the main body descends, captures Kame, and drags him to its underground lair. The other branches vanish as well. Christie accuses Irvin of failing to warn the group about the creature. Irvin defends himself, saying they need to survive, and forces her to move on. At the facility, the president orders the officers to capture Irvin, calling him the advisor. He threatens to imprison the officers if they fail. Later, while Irvin and Christie rest, Christie hears a strange sound. She turns to see a terrifying sight, a swarm of small creatures rushing toward them. She tries to run, but Irvin stops her and pulls her back. When one creature attacks, Irvin destroys it with his whip and pulls Christie into the box with him. The creatures swarm their spot, stomping on the box and shaking it violently, but the box holds strong and keeps them safe. Once the creatures leave, Irvin and Christie climb out and continue their journey without the box. They soon reach the swamps and use poles to check the ground before stepping to avoid sinking. Meanwhile, Yus' group reaches the same area, but Maria struggles to keep up. Yus calls for a break, but Layla protests, arguing they'll lose Irvin's trail. Ignoring her, Yus insists on resting. Furious, Layla cuts her end of the rope and tries to leave. Yus chases after her, but doesn't notice a swamp hole and falls in. Layla laughs as he begs for help. Zob considers rescuing him, but Layla stops him. Layla says Irvin used to advise the president and has all the necessary knowledge about this area, so they should follow him instead of Yust. Most of the group agrees and leaves with her, but Yin stays behind to help Yust out of the hole. Later that evening, Irvin catches some bugs, eats them raw, and tells Christie to do the same to survive. Although disgusted by the taste, Christie eats them, and Irvin explains that boiling the bugs would make them taste even worse. While resting, Irvin finally reveals why he was imprisoned. Layla was right, he was an advisor to the president. He was caught trying to leak information exposing corruption in the system. In the end, he surrendered, intending to be exiled on purpose. He knew the system relied on him, and his disappearance would be the most effective way to destroy it. Meanwhile, In the facility, the captain discovers system errors causing the communication satellites to fail. No one can fix it because Irvin is the only one who knows the code. Later, Layla's group spots two people nearby and approaches them, thinking they are Irvin and Christy. However, the strangers turn out to be prisoners who have survived by becoming cannibals. They attack the group, capture Maria, and force the others to flee. Christy hears Maria screaming in the distance and wants to help, but Irvin stops her, saying it's too dangerous. The screaming ends when the cannibals kill Maria with a rock. Afterward, Christy takes a moment to grieve and asks who came up with such a horrifying punishment. Irvin admits it was his idea. Christy calls him a monster, but Irvin reminds her that no one protested the law when it was announced, making the general population just as horrible as him. Furious, Christy keeps insulting him, saying his conscience woke up too late. Faced with his own guilt, Irvin runs away, screaming to attract a creature and hoping to end his life. When nothing appears, he believes even monsters don't want him. Defeated, he agrees to continue guiding Christy. Still angry, Christy admits the captain had offered her freedom if she killed Irvin, but she refused. Meanwhile, Yust and Yin find Layla's group and prepare for revenge. Yust grabs Layla by the neck, forcing her to confess that the captain promised her freedom if she killed Irvin. To confirm, Valentine scans her body and finds a tracker on her ankle. Yust announces they need to cut it off, so Layla tries to run but suddenly falls. When she looks back, she sees a cobweb-like creature grabbing her leg. More strands emerge from the ground, wrapping around Layla until she can't move or breathe. Yust regains control of the group, and they leave as the tracker sends a signal to the captain. The captain, pleased to hear of Layla's death, reveals he has an old-style gun that will work in the swamps. He orders Matthias to take it and go after the group. Back with Yust's group, Valentine finds a bag on the ground and opens it. A black substance pours out, enters his body, and instantly kills him, devouring the flesh on his face. Yin approaches Christy and Irvin, saying he abandoned his group. Irvin doesn't believe him and is proven right when something hits him on the head, knocking him out. When Irvin wakes up, he finds that he and Christy have been captured by 3 remaining prisoners. Yust explains they are near the entrances to the Rotten Shoal, but need a plan to approach it safely to avoid an ambush. Irvin urges Christy to leave him behind, but she refuses and kisses him. Afterward, Yust picks up Irvin and carries him on his shoulders while searching for an officer to negotiate with. In the Rotten Shoal, Matthias and 2 officers arrive. They knock out a few prisoners hiding there and interrogate another one, who insists nobody new has shown up. Suddenly, a crossbow bolt shoots out of the darkness, killing 1 officer. Matthias and the remaining guard fire back, killing several prisoners and destroying half the room. Outside, Zob wanders alone when a sawwort's branches start surrounding him. An officer investigates the noise, but the sawwort attacks and captures him instead. During the struggle, the officer's gun accidentally fires, injuring Zob's shoulder before the weapon falls, and the creature vanishes with the officer's body. Meanwhile, Yust and Irvin use a secret tunnel to enter the Rotten Shoal. Yust hides Irvin and goes to another room to meet Matthias, proposing a deal. Matthias agrees and gives Yust his gun as a sign of good faith. When Yust takes Matthias to Irvin, they discover he is gone. Matthias secretly uses his scanner to locate Irvin, but keeps the information to himself. Yust walks ahead to start the search, and Matthias prepares to shoot him. Yust hears this and fires first. The gun has no bullets, so Matthias quickly takes him down with 2 shots. Matthias checks behind a curtain, thinking Irvin is hiding there, but instead finds Yin and Christy. After killing Yin, Matthias captures Christy and threatens to kill her if Irvin doesn't come out. At that moment, Zob sneaks into the building with the other guard's gun. He finds Irvin, and they make a plan together. They come out of hiding, and Irvin agrees to surrender in exchange for Christy. Matthias releases Christy, but before Zob can shoot Irvin as planned, Yust reappears and stabs Matthias in the head from behind. As Matthias dies, he accidentally fires his gun, hitting Christy with a sedative instead of a real bullet. Afterward, Irvin thanks Yust, who is in great pain, Yust asks for Matthias' poison capsule, and Irvin gives it to him so Yust can have a peaceful death. Later, Christy, Irvin, and Zob reach the shore and find small islands on the sea. Zob thinks their ordeal is over, but Irvin notices the islands are moving. They realize the islands are just pieces of swamp carpet that can support their weight. The trio boards one and uses poles to push it away from the shore, hoping it will take them to freedom. At the facility, the president scolds the captain for his failure, and the system starts shutting down. The captain sends another officer after Irvin, believing they still have a chance to catch him. Back with the prisoners, Zob discovers his wound won't stop bleeding. Accepting his fate, he jumps into the sea and says goodbye to the others before a creature drags him underwater to be eaten. A few hours later, the officer finds the duo in an aircraft, but it's too late. The system fails again without the code, causing the aircraft to crash into the ocean and sink quickly. The duo realizes Irvin's plan worked and the government system is going down, so they celebrate. Their happiness is interrupted when they spot a waterfall ahead. Using Irvin's scientific knowledge, he and Christy create a cocoon using the island and hold their breath as the water throws them down. Later, the waves drop them on a different shore, which appears empty. Irvin knows a hidden military facility is nearby, but he doesn't know the last digit of the password because the president chose it. Since they only have 2 tries, Irvin calculates the possibilities in the sand, but Christy suggests he should focus on the last thing the president said before entering the code. Following her advice, Irvin enters a wrong code on purpose to test the system, then enters the code with the last number the president mentioned. This opens an entrance on the mountain. The duo enters and finds an aircraft ready to leave the planet. However, Irvin says it only has 1 seat, so Christy should leave without him. Christy tells him she would rather stay with him because she loves him and kisses him. Minutes later, they are both flying together in the aircraft, sharing the seat. Eventually, they reach another planet, and the League of Free Worlds learns about the atrocities in XT-59 system thanks to them. Peacekeeping forces are sent to free the planet's citizens, and in 10 years, a new system takes over. But it ends up being worse. That is how the movie ends. Please subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching.